The famous Greek mythology that was familiar to the ancient world did not begin with the well-known Olympian gods. The group names deities such as Zeus, Poseidon, or Apollo. Indeed, before these gods named their home on Mount Olympus, there was the Greek Titans, and even before that, there was the primordial deities, the first generation of Greek god, the 12 creators that fully emerged to form the universe, each of them holding each form such as earth, sky, air, sea, fresh water, underworld, light, darkness, day, night, procreation, and time. But the first story begins with Gaia, the goddess of earth. Chapter 1. The birth of the primordial children. Gaia. She was the first to take shape. Just her alone in the vast, endless, empty space of chaos. Within her ancient awareness grew a longing. She gave birth to Uranus, the god of the sky. Uranus rose above her as a living dome of endless blue, studded with burning stars. He forms a great celestial dome that arched protectively over Gaia, vast and powerful, embracing the world below, where Gaia was grounded and enduring. Uranus was infinite and untouchable. Together, they formed the first great union of the cosmos. That pulse echoed through Gaia's depths and Uranus's celestial heights, weaving unseen patterns that would shape gods and destinies. The universe was no longer empty. It had become a living story preparing to unfold. Neither Gaia nor Uranus spoke in mortal words, yet their presence resonated with purpose. Together, they held the framework of existence steady, allowing reality to take its first breath. From their divine harmony, the next generation of beings would soon arise, powers that would shape light, memory, and fate. In the age when earth and sky were joined in perfect harmony, creation did not stand still. The union of Gaia and Uranus was a wellspring of divine power. From that rhythm, life began to take form. Gaia felt the stirrings first, a deep, resonant movement within her vast body. Uranus answered with a shimmer of celestial fire. Together, they shaped the next generation of gods. Their first children rose not as fragile infants, but as towering force already marked by destiny. They were the Titans. When the first Titan rose, the cosmos seemed to steady itself, as if acknowledging a new order. Oceanus, the endless river encircling the world, unfurled like a living current, vast and eternal. His essence flowed in endless circles, forming the primordial waters that would one day cradle continents. Next came Hyperion, radiant with newborn light. His presence illuminated the heavens, casting brilliance across Uranus's star-strewn expanse, the force that would one day guide sun and moon. Coeus followed, his gaze sharp and penetrating, intellect given divine form. Within him stirred questions and patterns, the architecture of reason that would shape prophecy and understanding. Creus emerged aligned with the turning heavens. His presence marked the silent pathways of stars yet to move. He carried the order of constellations, the unseen framework guiding celestial motion. Then rose Iapetus, solemn and enduring. In him lay the seed of mortal destiny, struggle, endurance, and the fragile brilliance of finite life. His existence hinted at futures where gods and mortals would collide. Last among the brothers came Cronus. He arrived without thunder or radiant display, his power folded inward like a coiled blade. His eyes held awareness beyond his age, patient and observant. Even in his first moments, there was something in Cronus that seemed to measure the world. Alongside the brothers rose their sisters, the Titanesses, forces of balance and wisdom. Rhea, an embodied nurturing strength, her presence warm and steady, promising cycles of birth and renewal. Themis, and radiated harmony and order, the silent laws that would govern gods and worlds alike forming around her like an invisible crown. Mnemosyne, and carried memory itself, the living archive of existence. Through her, nothing would truly be lost. Phoebe, and shone with quiet foresight, her gaze turned toward futures yet unwritten. Prophecy moved in her like a whispering wind. Tethys, aflowed with gentle abundance, her essence nourishing all waters and life to come. And Thea, gleamed with luminous clarity, the brilliance that gives value to sight and light. Together, the Titans formed a generation of immense stability. Their presence filled the cosmos with strength and identity. Gaia and Uranus beheld them with pride, seeing in them the continuation of creation's harmony. But Gaia's creative power wasn't finished. Deep within her, another stirring began, heavier, wilder, impossible to contain. When these next children emerged, the universe trembled. The Cyclops rose like living storms. Each bore a single blazing eye set in the center of their foreheads, an orb glowing with elemental fire. Thunder and flame answered their touch. They were creators of destruction and creation, beings capable of forging wonders or unleashing ruin. Even Uranus's vast sky rippled at their presence, yet Gaia's womb opened once more. From its depths came the Hecatoncheires, colossal beings unlike anything before them. Each possessed 100 mighty arms. They embodied untamed force. They were not evil, but overwhelming. Their every gesture seemed capable of reshaping mountains or stirring the foundations of reality itself. Their arrival shook the balance Gaia and Uranus had so carefully formed. The Titans stood in awe. The Cyclopes crackled with volatile energy, and when Uranus looked upon his newest children, first time since his birth, the sky god felt something unfamiliar. Fear. Where Gaia saw wonder and possibility, Uranus saw chaos reborn, a threat to the fragile order he cherished. His radiant expanse darkened with doubt, and as the cries of the newborn giants echoed across earth and sky, the age of innocence was ending. Creation had grown beyond harmony, and the first shadow of fear had entered the heart of a god. Chapter 2. The Sky God's Fear. The harmony that once defined the union of earth and sky began to fracture in silence. When Uranus beheld the Cyclopes and the Hecatoncheires, he saw magnitude without limit, strength that rivaled the heavens themselves. Their towering forms unsettled him. Their presence felt unpredictable, as if the ancient void of chaos had taken shape once more. The Cyclops moved like living storms. Sparks leapt from their hands when they touched the air. Thunder murmured in their footsteps. The Hecatoncheires were even more overwhelming, their many arms shifting like a tide of unstoppable force, their layered voices rumbling with a power that seemed capable of shaking creation itself. Fear, unfamiliar and unwelcome, took root within him. The sky that once shone with boundless clarity began to dim. Uranus turned his thoughts inward, replaying visions of upheaval, mountains torn loose, the heavens challenged, the fragile order of existence undone. He convinced himself that this acted was not from fear, but from necessity. These beings, he reasoned in the silence of his vast mind, threaten the balance of all things. If they remain free, chaos will return. And so the sky god made a choice that would echo through eternity. Rather than guide his children, he rejected them. Without warning, Uranus descended in his full celestial might. His presence pressed down upon Gaia with the weight of the heavens. The Cyclopes looked upward, with their blazing eyes reflecting the tightening sky. The Hecatonchires' voices rose in confusion. Uranus did not hesitate. With divine force, he drove them downward, past Gaia's mountains, beneath her roots, into the deepest abyss that existed below creation. Tartarus, a prison older than memory, a chasm where light struggled to survive, one by one, he sealed them inside. The Cyclops' cries in protest, thunder flashing briefly in the darkness before fading. The Hecatonchires reached upward with their countless arms, their voices merging into a cry that shook the world above. Those cries traveled through Gaia like fractures of grief. Mountains trembled, valleys split, deep fault lines opened as her pain rippled outward. She felt every moment of their imprisonment as a wound carved into her being. Gaia was not only their mother, she was the prison that held them. The weight of Tartarus pressed against her essence, heavy and suffocating. She called out to Uranus. Her voice rose through stone and sky, carrying both sorrow and fury. These are our children. They are born of us. Guide them. Do not condemn them. For a moment the heavens held still. Uranus listened, but his fear spoke louder than her grief. He refused. The sky hardened. Clouds sealed over like a barrier. His presence withdrew, distant and unyielding. His decision was final, a sacrifice made for order. But the silence that followed was not peace. It was tension. Gaia endured, but her suffering did not fade beneath her surface. The imprisoned giants stirred, their existence a constant reminder of injustice. Each echo from Tartarus pulsed through her like a heartbeat of rebellion waiting to awaken. The balance between earth and sky, once perfect, was now bore a fracture. Fear had entered the heart of a god, and in doing so, it planted the first seed of revolt, for the creation to remembers every wound that Gaia would never forget. Chapter 4: Gaia's Wrath and the Silent Sun. Grief does not always remain sorrow. Sometimes it hardens. Within Gaia, the pain of her imprisoned children never fade. After years, she still hears their distant cries echoed endlessly through her mountains and roots, a reminder of injustice that buried deep within her being. What began as mourning slowly transformed into something sharper. Gaia's patience as the vast world itself had reached its limit. She had pleaded with the sky. She had endured his silence, but the sky's refusal had shattered more than trust. It had broken the sacred balance between creator and creation. And from that wound, Gaia's wrath awakened. Deep within her ancient essence, she gathered her strength. Stone compressed with impossible force, minerals fused under her will. From the substance of the earth itself, she shaped a weapon unlike any that had ever existed, a great sickle of adamant. Its edge gleamed with cold perfection, shape enough to challenge a god. When the weapon was complete, Gaia summoned her children, the Titans. They gathered across her vast form. Each Titan carried immense power. Yet an unspoken tension hung in the air. They knew their mother did not summon them lightly. Gaia spoke the truth of their brother's suffering. Her voice rolled like distant thunder as she spoke of Tartarus, of the chains unseen, the cries unheard in a father ruled by fear. The Titans listened, their expressions shifting from shock to anger. And finally, Gaia presented the sickle. Its gleam caught their attention immediately. Even the heavens seemed to recoil from its edge. She asked, "Who among you will rise against your father and free your brothers?" No one moved. The Titans were mighty, but Uranus was the sky itself, ancient, vast, untouchable, one by one. Their gazes lowered. Gaia watched, her anger tempered by disappointment. Then, a figure stepped forward. Cronus, the youngest Titan. He moved without hesitation, his presence quiet but deliberate. Unlike his siblings, Cronus's gaze did not waver. His eyes held a calculating stillness, the look of one who had spent long ages observing. Cronus had watched Uranus carefully. He studied the sky's power and its weakness. Ambition burned within him. He said, "I will." Not loudly, but with certain that carried weight. The air seemed to tighten. Gaia studied her son. She saw both courage and cunning, a willing to do what others would not. In that moment, she understood the cost of what she was asking and the consequences that would follow. Yet necessity outweighed hesitation. She placed the sickle in Cronus's hands. The moment his fingers closed around the adamant blade, a tremor passed through the world. The weapon recognized its bearer. Cronus felt its purpose settle into him, sharp, inevitable. Mother and son stood united, bound by grief. Together, they began to shape a plan. Cronus would not confront Uranus with brute force. He would wait. He would strike at the moment of vulnerability, when sky descended to embrace earth, unaware of the betrayal waiting in shadow. Patience would be their weapon. As the Titans dispersed, unease lingered in the air. They sensed that the balance of creation stood at the edge of transformation. What Gaia and Cronus had set in motion could not be undone. Deep beneath the earth, the imprisoned giant stirred, as if feeling the shift in fate. Above, Uranus stretched endlessly, unaware that rebellion now breathed beneath him, and in the silence between earth and sky, the first true act of divine overthrow began to take shape. Chapter 5. The Fall of Uranus. Night came to the newborn cosmos. A vast hush, even the stars seemed to hold their breath. As he had done since the dawn of creation, Uranus descended to embrace Gaia, the sky stretching across the earth in his endless form, a familiar union that once symbolized harmony, certainty, dominion. But beneath that certainty, something waited, hidden within Gaia's shadow. Cronus waited, motionless, his grip firm around the adamant sickle. The weapon felt impossibly heavy and precise. Cronus's breath was steady. His gaze never left the descending sky. This was the moment fate had been sharpening toward, as Uranus lowered himself, unaware of the betrayal waiting below. Cronus emerged. The sickle flashed in a single, decisive motion. Guided by resolve long prepared, the strike was swift, an act not only to wound, but to end an era. The universe reacted. Thunder rolled through the heavens. Stars shuddered in their courses. The harmony that had once bound earth and sky shattered like glass. Uranus's voice echoed across creation. Not a cry, but the sound of power breaking apart. When his essence met Gaia, new life born, shaped by the intensity of the moment. First came the Erinyes, solemn spirits of injustice and consequence. They carried the weight of cosmic memory, embodiments of the truth that actions leave echoes. Then rose the giants, towering figures infused with untamed strength. Their presence felt like the rumble of distant storms, a form destined to walk the boundary between order and upheaval. From the earth emerged the Meliae, ash tree nymphs bound to resilience and renewal. They stood as quiet witnesses to transformation, symbols of renewal born from rupture. Yet, the act's ripple did not end there. A fragment of Uranus's divine essence fell into the vast sea. The waters churned gently. Foam gathered and shimmered with strange radiance, swirling with promise from that luminous tide. A presence emerged. Aphrodite, the embodiment of love and beauty, proof that creation finds harmony even in upheaval. As the echoes faded, Uranus's rule ended. The sky still remained, vast and eternal. Earth and sky were no longer bound as before. A space now stretched between them, filled with consequence and freedom. Cronus stood beneath the trembling heavens, the sickle still in his hand. The act was done. Gaia felt the weight of change settle into her being. Sorrow and relief intertwined. Her children were avenged, and the cost of rebellion lingered in the air. The cosmos exhaled. An era had fallen. Another was ready to rise, and in the silence that followed, destiny prepared its next movement. The fall of Uranus was not only the defeat of a god, it was the moment universe learned that even the heavens can change. Chapter 6. The Curse of the Sky. The echoes of upheaval still trembled through creation when the voice of Uranus rose one final time. His dominion had been broken, yet the sky wasn't easily silenced. Even as his power faded, the heavens dimmed, as if it's listening. Across earth and sky, his voice carried. He wasn't shouted. The words resonated with the sound of fate speaking through a fallen god. He whispered, "Just as I have fallen by my son's hand, so too shall Cronus fall by his own child." The prophecy rippled outward like a shockwave. Mountains seemed to hold their breath. The air tightened. Even the stars appeared to flicker, as if acknowledging a truth that could not be undone. Cronus heard the words. He stood beneath the vast expanse that had once been his father's throne, the adamant sickle still heavy in his grasp. For a brief, as a heartbeat, uncertainty touched his thoughts. The prophecy settled into him like a distant thunder. Yet, at the moment, ambition spoke louder. Cronus had overthrown the sky. He had reshaped the order of creation. He believed the future was his to command. He cast aside doubt, believing power could silence prophecy as surely as the sickle had ended Uranus's reign. Above him, Uranus's presence began to withdraw. The end of Uranus did not destroy the sky. The primordial beings were not so easily erased. The heavens remained as structure and space, no longer governed by a singular will. Cronus moved quickly to claim what he believed he had earned. Cronus ascended as their leader. Under his command, the age of the Titans began. To many, it seemed a triumph, but beneath that rising age, Uranus's prophecy lingered like an unseen current. Even if Cronus dismissed it now, somewhere deep within, the echo of his father's voice remained. The fall of one god had planted the seed for the rise of another. The sky had fallen silent, but its final words would shape eternity. Thank you for staying here with me. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this video. Or comment your opinions of this video. I would love to hear it.